What if I told you that the habits you resist today are the very things that can set you free tomorrow? That discipline isn't a cage, but a key. A key that unlocks control, confidence, and a life lived on your own terms. We often think freedom means doing whatever we want, whenever we want. But real freedom, the kind that lasts, is built through discipline. Discipline is the quiet decision to show up, even when it's hard. It's not about restriction, it's about direction. When you choose discipline, you choose a future where your life is not ruled by excuses, but guided by purpose. Without discipline, life feels like something that happens to you instead of something you shape. Your days are driven by how you feel in the moment, tired, motivated, bored, stressed. One morning you promise yourself you'll change, and by evening that promise is forgotten because your mood shifted. Cravings decide what you eat, distractions decide how you spend your time, and circumstances decide how far you go. In that state, even though it looks like freedom, you are not free at all. You are reacting, not leading. Discipline changes that dynamic. Discipline is the moment you take responsibility for your actions, regardless of how you feel. It is choosing to wake up when the alarm rings, not when your comfort allows it. It is deciding to work when motivation is low, to rest when rest is needed, and to stop when excess begins to harm you. In those small daily decisions, something powerful happens. You take the steering wheel of your life. You are no longer being pulled in every direction by impulse. You are choosing your direction with intention. When you practice discipline consistently, your actions stop being random. They become aligned. You wake up with purpose, your time has structure, and your energy is invested instead of wasted. Over time, this control compounds. A disciplined morning creates a focused day. A focused day creates meaningful progress. Meaningful progress builds confidence, and that confidence reinforces your ability to stay disciplined. This cycle is how control is built, not overnight, but steadily, through commitment. True freedom is not the absence of rules, it is the ability to live according to your values rather than your urges. Discipline gives you that ability. It allows you to say no to what weakens you, so you can say yes to what strengthens you. It helps you resist short-term pleasure for long-term fulfillment. And in doing so, it frees you from guilt, regret, and self-disappointment, the invisible chains that hold so many people back. When you control your actions, you begin to control your outcomes. Your health improves because you choose consistency over convenience. Your career grows because you choose effort over excuses. Your mind becomes calmer because you choose focus over chaos. These results are not accidents. They are the natural outcome of disciplined choices made again and again. Eventually, discipline gives you something priceless: reliability in yourself. You know that when things get hard, you won't quit. When distractions appear, you won't drift. When challenges rise, you will respond instead of panic. That inner stability creates real freedom. The freedom to pursue big goals without fear, to handle pressure without breaking, and to live life on your own terms. Discipline doesn't limit your life, it gives you command over it. Discipline is often misunderstood as sacrifice without reward, but in reality, discipline is one of the greatest builders of opportunity. When you live without discipline, your future slowly narrows. Bills pile up because money wasn't managed. Skills remain undeveloped because effort was inconsistent. Health declines because comfort was chosen over care. In that situation, life begins to feel tight, limited, and stressful. You don't choose, you settle. You take what comes because there are no alternatives. That is not freedom. Discipline reverses this process. Every disciplined action is an investment in future choice. When you commit to learning a skill even when it's uncomfortable, you are quietly expanding your value. Over time, that skill creates leverage, better jobs, better income, better respect. Suddenly, you're not stuck. You can leave a workplace that drains you because you have something to offer elsewhere. That option didn't appear by luck. It was built through disciplined effort. The same is true with money. Discipline in saving, budgeting, and delaying unnecessary pleasure may feel restrictive at first, but it does something powerful. It buys peace. It buys time. It buys independence. When an emergency comes, you are not desperate. When an opportunity appears, you are ready. Money saved through discipline becomes freedom in disguise. The freedom to move, to choose, to breathe without constant worry. Health works the same way. A disciplined body creates options that an undisciplined one cannot. When you protect your health through consistent movement, proper rest, and mindful eating, you gain energy, clarity, and resilience. You are free to work harder, dream bigger, and live longer without being held back by constant fatigue or illness. Good health gives you the option to fully participate in life instead of watching from the sidelines. Mental discipline sharpens this freedom even further. When you train your focus, manage your emotions, and control your reactions, you are no longer easily shaken by fear, pressure, or criticism. You gain the option to stay calm in chaos, to think clearly under stress, and to respond wisely instead of reacting emotionally. That inner strength allows you to say no without guilt, to stand firm without anger, and to move forward without doubt. What makes discipline so powerful is that it works quietly. No applause, no shortcuts, just daily choices stacking on top of each other. But one day you look up and realize your life has space. Space to choose your direction. Space to walk away from what no longer serves you. Space to say yes only to what aligns with your values.
Options are not given, they are earned, and discipline is the price. Discipline today gives you flexibility tomorrow. It turns pressure into power and limits into leverage. In the end, freedom is not about having no responsibilities. It's about having options, and discipline is what creates them. Self-respect is not something you demand from the world. It is something you earn within yourself. And discipline is how that self-respect is built. Every time you make a promise to yourself, whether it's to wake up earlier, stay consistent with your work, protect your health, or finish what you started, you create a moment of choice. You can either keep that promise or break it. When you break it repeatedly, even in small ways, something inside you weakens. You begin to doubt your own word. And when you don't trust yourself, it's hard to stand strong in any area of life. Discipline changes that relationship with yourself. Each time you follow through, even when it's uncomfortable, you send a quiet but powerful message inward. I do what I say I will do. That message builds self-trust, and self-trust is the foundation of real confidence. Not loud confidence, not ego, but steady, unshakable confidence rooted in integrity. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone because you've already proven yourself to you. Over time, disciplined behavior reshapes how you see yourself. You stop feeling like someone who always starts and never finishes. You stop carrying the weight of self-disappointment. Instead, you begin to see yourself as reliable, capable, and strong. That internal shift changes everything. You walk differently. You speak with clarity. You make decisions with conviction. Confidence stops being something you chase and becomes something you live. When self-respect grows, the need for external validation fades. You no longer depend on praise to feel worthy or approval to feel secure. You don't bend your values to fit in or stay silent to be accepted. Discipline gives you the strength to stand alone if you have to, because your sense of worth is no longer borrowed from others, it is built from within. This inner respect also protects you from fear. When you trust yourself, fear loses its grip. You know that even if you fail, you will not quit on yourself. Even if things get hard, you will show up. That certainty creates freedom. The freedom to take risks, to speak truth, and to pursue big goals without being paralyzed by doubt or criticism. Discipline also teaches you boundaries. When you respect yourself, you stop overcommitting, people-pleasing, and settling for less than you deserve. You learn to say no without guilt and yes without fear. Those boundaries are not walls, they are expressions of self-worth, and they allow you to move through life with clarity instead of confusion. In the end, discipline is not about punishment or restriction, it is about honoring your own word. It is about becoming someone you can rely on. And when you respect yourself at that level, you no longer walk looking for permission. You walk with purpose. You walk with confidence. You walk free. Regret is quiet, but it is heavy. It doesn't always shout, yet it follows people for years, sometimes for a lifetime. It lives in unanswered questions, in chances not taken, in effort not given. Most regret is not about what we did wrong, but about what we didn't do when we had the chance. And this is where discipline becomes a powerful form of protection. Discipline is what pushes you to act today so you don't suffer tomorrow. Without discipline, it is easy to delay the hard things. You tell yourself you'll start later, try again next year, get serious when the timing feels right. Days pass, then months, then years, and one day you look back and realize time moved forward while you stayed still. That realization hurts more than effort ever could. Discipline interrupts that cycle. It forces action in the present when it still matters. Discipline helps you face discomfort early instead of carrying regret forever. Waking up early, staying consistent, learning when it's difficult, speaking up when it's uncomfortable, these moments are not easy, but they are light compared to the weight of regret. Regret asks painful questions. What if I had tried harder? What if I had believed in myself? What if I had stayed consistent? Discipline answers those questions before they ever form. When you practice discipline, you begin to live with intention. You stop drifting through life and start showing up on purpose. You prepare instead of hoping. You practice instead of wishing. You commit instead of waiting for motivation. Even when results take time, you gain peace knowing you are doing your part. That peace is powerful. It protects your mind from self-blame and your heart from disappointment. Discipline also gives you courage. It teaches you to act despite fear, doubt, or uncertainty. Many regrets come from fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of being seen. Discipline trains you to move forward anyway. And even if you fall short, you fall forward with dignity because you know you didn't quit on yourself. As time passes, disciplined effort builds a sense of completion. You may not achieve everything, but you will know you tried with honesty and commitment. That knowledge allows you to look back without bitterness. You can accept outcomes without regret because you respected the process. Freedom is not about always winning. It's about knowing you didn't waste your potential. In the end, discipline gives you a clear conscience. It allows you to live without constantly replaying the past or imagining alternate lives you never lived. You move forward without chains of what-ifs holding you back. That is a rare kind of freedom, the freedom that comes from effort given fully, from chances taken bravely, and from knowing deep down that you gave your best when it mattered most. Dreams are easy to have. Everyone has them. A better life, a stronger future, a version of themselves that feels proud and fulfilled. But dreams alone have no power. Without discipline, they stay in the imagination, comforting but unchanged by time. Discipline is what gives dreams weight. It is the bridge between what you hope for and what you actually create.
Discipline takes a vision and breaks it down into action. It asks a simple but uncomfortable question. What must be done today? Not someday, not when motivation appears, today. That daily action, repeated consistently, is what separates dreamers from builders. Action becomes habit. Habit becomes identity, and identity shapes destiny. This process is quiet, slow, and often unnoticed, but it works. When discipline becomes part of your life, you stop relying on bursts of motivation. Motivation is emotional and temporary. Discipline is steady and reliable. It shows up when you're tired, when progress feels invisible, and when results are far away.
In those moments, discipline keeps you moving forward, even if it's only one small step. And those small steps, taken daily, compound into something extraordinary. As habits form, results begin to appear, not suddenly, but gradually. A skill improves, confidence grows, opportunities expand. What once felt distant begins to feel possible. And with each result, something powerful changes inside you. You stop waiting for luck. You realize that progress is not random, it is earned. You are no longer hoping for a break, you are creating momentum. Discipline also gives you ownership. When success comes through disciplined effort, it belongs to you. You understand the process because you lived it. That understanding gives you freedom. If something breaks, you can rebuild. If you fall behind, you know how to recover. You are not dependent on perfect conditions or external approval. You have the ability to build again and again. This is where true freedom emerges. Freedom is not waking up one day and magically having everything you want. Freedom is knowing you have the tools, habits, and mindset to create whatever you need next. Discipline gives you that confidence. It turns uncertainty into structure and fear into forward motion. Dreams become real when discipline turns intention into consistency, and consistency into results. The person who disciplines themselves daily does not wait for permission or miracles. They show up, do the work, and trust the process. Over time, their dreams stop feeling like fantasies and start feeling like plans. In the end, discipline doesn't just help you achieve your dreams, it teaches you how to build. And when you know how to build, you are never powerless. You are never stuck. You are free to create, improve, and rise again. A life without purpose may look free on the surface, but deep down it often feels hollow. You can do whatever you want, go wherever you like, and chase every fleeting desire, but without direction, these freedoms quickly lose their value. Days blur together and achievements feel empty because they were not connected to anything larger than the moment. Discipline is what transforms freedom into significance. It connects your actions to your values and ensures that the time, energy, and effort you invest actually build a life that matters. Discipline provides structure in a world full of distractions. Without it, your days are controlled by impulse, habit, and external pressures. But when you apply discipline, each action becomes intentional. You wake up with purpose, make choices aligned with your goals, and consistently move in the direction of your values. Even small daily actions, like reading to expand your mind, exercising to strengthen your body, or working on a project with focus, begin to compound into a life of meaning. Discipline turns these ordinary moments into building blocks for extraordinary results. When your actions align with your values, you start to experience fulfillment in a deeper sense. It's no longer just about crossing tasks off a list or accumulating possessions. It's about knowing that the way you spend your time matters, that the effort you put in, even when it's hard, is creating something of value. This alignment creates inner peace. You don't waste energy worrying about whether you are doing enough or if your life has purpose. Discipline ensures that every day contributes to a larger vision. Discipline also teaches patience and perseverance, which are essential for meaningful achievements. Big goals, profound growth, and lasting impact cannot be rushed. Without discipline, it's easy to seek shortcuts or give up when results aren't immediate. But when you commit to disciplined action, you learn to embrace the process, to work steadily, and to trust that your consistent effort is shaping a life worth living. This patience not only builds resilience, but also deepens your appreciation for the journey, not just the destination. Another powerful aspect of discipline is that it frees you from regret. When you live with intention, guided by your values, you are less likely to look back with what-ifs. Every decision becomes a conscious choice rather than a reaction to circumstance or emotion. This sense of accountability to yourself creates freedom in its truest sense, the freedom to live without guilt, fear, or hesitation. Ultimately, discipline is not a limitation, it is the gateway to a life that matters. It allows you to take the raw material of your time, talent, and energy and turn it into a legacy, not just a passing moment. In the structure and focus that discipline provides, you don't lose freedom, you discover it. Freedom becomes meaningful because it is paired with purpose. Discipline is the price you pay for that kind of life, a life where every day, every choice, and every action builds towards something significant, lasting, and truly your own. So don't run from discipline, embrace it, because discipline is not the enemy of freedom. Discipline is freedom, earned, built, and owned by those brave enough to commit to it one day at a time.